Hi guys, here's my November wrap up. So these are the books that I read in the month of November. I'm going to go through what I read, what I rated it, and just a bit about the book and my initial thoughts on it. So the first book I read was It by Stephen King. This is a huge book. So I actually started this in October. I didn't finish it till mid-November. This is the very first Stephen King book that I have read. I was really interested in reading it, seeing as the remake had just come out in the cinema, or last year came out in the cinema, and I thought, yep, I'm going to read it, but it's so intimidating due to the size. So this follows a group of children in Derry, in America. And it starts off in 1957, where children are going missing, and it just seems to be children, no adults, it's just children keep going missing. And it all starts off with Georgie, who's on the front. Georgie starts to play with his boat when there's torrential rain. It goes down a storm drain, and Pennywise, the clown, eats him. So Georgie's brother, Big Bill, and his friends decide to investigate as to why and how these children are going missing. It goes back in time from 1957 to 1984, so 27 years later. So every 27 years, Pennywise keeps coming back and eating children. So in 1984, obviously Georgie goes missing, and Pennywise the clown doesn't always appear as a clown. He can appear as anything that the child fears. So it could be a werewolf, clown, anything really, anything that they fear, and they will eat them. And then 27 years later, when they're adults, Pennywise has come back, is again eating children, but when they were 12, 13, they made a pact that they would come back and finish Pennywise off if he ever did come back. So that essentially is the book. Now, I rated this about 3 stars. I liked it. It was okay, but it was too long. It had too much waffle in it. It could have been so much shorter. Some of the information in here, parts of it, just wasn't essential for the story. I didn't really understand why it was there. There was also it was difficult for me to get into. There were so many characters. I don't think all the characters was necessary, and the back and forth of it was the back and forth from 1954 to 1957 to 1984 was really, it didn't give me didn't make me click with any of the characters. It took me a long time to really know who was who. So yeah, it was okay, but it was a little bit disappointing. And due to this book, I am now behind in my Goodreads challenge. Thank you, Stephen King. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to read any more Stephen King books. I do have a few on my shelf which I want to read. I mean, it was fun to read. It was different to read. I wanted to read it as in October. It was the spooky month. But yeah, so I won't be reading this again. But I do recommend it if you've seen the movie, or if you're a Stephen King fan. But yeah. So the next book that I read was Still Lives by Maria Hummel. So this was sent to me by Quercus Books, so thank you Quercus Books. This is about an artist, Kim Lord, and she's about to exhibit 12 pieces of art that is all based on 12 women that have been murdered in the Los Angeles area. So on the night of the exhibit at the Rock Museum, anybody turns up except that Kim Lord doesn't show up. Now, our story is told by our narrator Maggie, and Maggie just believes that this non-showing of Kim is a publicity stunt and it's just to get more of a frenzy, when in actual fact the next day there's investigators, police all around, as it seems that this is not a publicity stunt and actually Kim Lord has disappeared. So again, this book was about a 3-star. So the writing was good, it was fast paced, it was easy to read. The problem is that this is it's supposed to be sold as a mystery thriller. There wasn't really that much mystery, and there really wasn't that much thrill involved. Again, this book had a lot of characters. All the characters wasn't essential to the plot, but it did give you an idea of how a museum was run and how many people were required to run a successful museum. I didn't like the main character. I thought she didn't give reasons behind what she was doing. She'd made stupid decisions. I think it was a good idea, but it wasn't executed as well as it could have been. And the ending was messy. The ending, the ending was just messy. I didn't like it, and all I could give it was 3 stars. I mean, it was so messy, it takes you out of who the killer was or who the murderer was, and the thrill of it wasn't really thrilling. So I would say it's more of a literary fiction. I don't know if I would read any of Maria Hummel's other works, but I am really grateful for Quercus Books for sending it my way. So the next book that I read was The Hating Game, and this is by Sally Thorne. So this book I've been hearing nothing but great things about, mostly on the BookTube Chelsea Dollings Reads channel. So this book is about Lucy and Josh. They work together in a publishing house which 2 companies have united together to work together. And Joshua and Lucy are on they're in the same position, but for 2 different managers, so they work opposite each other and they absolutely hate one another, really hate one another. All things suddenly decide to change when Lucy makes up that she's got a date, and that she's got to make up a date, and everything sort of changes between them. The dynamics between them really change, and obviously something sort of develops more than hate. This was really fun. I really loved reading about it. It has really great chemistry between the 2. It does have a lot of sexual content in it, so if that's not something that you like, I wouldn't go into this, and I wouldn't go into it for anyone under 18 because of the sexual content. But it is really light and fluffy, a great contemporary read, and I definitely recommend it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It has got a really great relationship in it, and I really loved it. So definitely one to look out for, but just be warned about the sexual content. And the last book that I read in November was A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. So this is a 3.1 in the Court of Thorns and Roses series. This book basically it's a bit of a filler book. Nothing much happens, but basically we're back into the world here of the court of the Night Court, and it's all to do with after the war with Highburn and the after effects, and them trying to build their life back up again after this war. and it's all to do with the winter solstice that's going on, and it goes from, so you have Feyre, Reese, and all the others. I can't remember their names. All the others that are in it. So each chapter is usually told by a separate character. And like I said, not much happens in this, to be honest. It is a filler book, but it is small compared to what Sarah J Maas usually produces. Again, this is, sometimes people say it's a young adult book, but it's actually a new adult. There is a lot of sexual content in this book, and it's not for under 18s. I wouldn't recommend it due to the sexual content. But this was good. I liked getting back into the world. I liked to get back with the characters again. It was really nice just to have this refresher. So I would give this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Nothing great, nothing bad, but nice to get back into the world, and it was quite small, so it helped. Other than that, that is it. That is my November wrap up. Please look out for my December TBR and maybe a book haul. Thank you very much, and see you later. Bye.